All right. So years ago, there was this kid, shy little Asian boy, probably around like maybe 10 years old or so, came to one of our singing class. And that very first day when we were, rehearsing with him, he was trying to sing and we couldn't hear him. And literally, we were putting our ears right in front of his mouth and we still couldn't hear him. But yet, he stuck with us, stuck with the class. He didn't leave. His parents didn't, pull him out because he was too shy. They kept him in there for a year or so. And after a year, we actually heard him. And I remember, a year or so later, I kind of thought about that moment from a year before where we couldn't hear him. And now I'm like, this kid is moving, he's dancing, he's singing, and we can hear him. He's heard. That is the power of the performing arts. It can transform a shy kid into someone who has confidence. And for me, that I think is the most valuable thing any parent can give their child, because life is complicated. I understand, going to school, doing well in school, in class is important, but for me, nothing is more important than building the confidence of your child. Because if they're confident, they will succeed in anything else that they do. I'm Paul Kuo, founder of PopRock Academy, and I've helped many students, both recreationally and professionally, find their voice and overcome their nervousness, gain the confidence that they need, and achieve their dreams. And so today, I'm going to tell you how you can also help your child and even yourself build that confidence. It's not just for kids, it's also for adults. In fact, I do this workshop with realtors. It's actually called Acting for Realtors, helping realtors understand how they can use the skills that you can learn in acting and translate it into the regular day-to-day life in their jobs to make them more effective, give them more confidence communicating with their clients and succeeding. Acting and performing arts is for everyone. I have parents who come to me on occasion who says, oh, my kid's too shy, they don't want to do acting. That's more reason to do acting. If your kid is shy, you should put them into an acting class, because an acting class, at least a good one, at least the ones here at PopRock, it's here designed to help children get out of their shell, to help them be more comfortable expressing themselves, because it is a skill. Shyness is not necessarily equate to a child not wanting to approach people. It just means they don't know how. When I was a kid, I was actually really shy. I still have phone anxiety. I hate calling on the phone. I hate picking up and talking to random strangers. If you ask my husband, he will tell you, oh my gosh, he just, if I had my way, I would text everyone. I don't want to talk to people. But yet here I am. I'm comfortably talking to a world of people on camera. And anyone who's met me would never think I'm shy, would think I'm outgoing. I'm not. I'm an introvert. I love to be at home. I love to be not with people. But yet I've gained the skills to do this. And I realize I've gained it all because of acting, because of improv training, because of the communication skills that I've developed, the improvisatory, the listening and the reacting skills that I've done in acting. That's what's given me that kind of confidence. And then in dance, it's given me awareness of my body, being able to control myself and looking more professional and more put together and having that control and comfort in my own skin. And that's what dance does. And in singing and music, it gives me the discipline, training on how to make sure I can be on that stage doing something that might be scary, because playing the piano in front of a live audience is probably one of the scariest things you can ever do. You're by yourself with this giant 9-foot grand piano, sitting in front of a bunch of people playing a piece of music that's incredibly hard, that any slip of the finger could completely ruin it. You might blank out and not remember anything. At least in dance, if you're in a group, you can still kind of follow the other people there. There's no one to follow when you're the pianist. Everyone's following you if you're doing an ensemble. If you're playing in a choir, everyone's listening to you. You are the foundation. That is scary. And being a professionally trained pianist, it really helped me overcome that nervousness. How do I deal with this? How do I embrace it? How do I love this? How do I want to, how do I make this useful and take advantage of my nervousness when I'm on stage, when I'm in front of an audience? That is the power of the performing arts. So I highly encourage all the parents out there to please, if your child is shy, if your child doesn't know how to talk to people, get them into an acting class, get them into a dance class so that they become comfortable. Now, of course, there are ways to get them into it in a safe, controlled environment. Make sure you vet the school, that the school creates safe environments for your child to succeed, to blossom. That is your job as a parent. Talk to them, see who's teaching the classes, see what they do in that class. How do they function in this? Are they going to just throw everyone, out there and be eaten by wolves? Or are they there to nurture them and slowly help them gain that confidence? That's what we do here at PopRock Academy. We've designed our program to help children gain this confidence. And it's the most wonderful, amazing thing when you see a shy kid eventually opening up and having that confidence in communication, knowing that their voice is worth listening to, that their ideas are worth something, that they have something to contribute. That's confidence. That's showing them that they matter, that what they're thinking means something. That's acting, listening, reacting. I'm listening to what you have to say, and then I'm reacting to it. I'm saying yes, and. That's the golden rule of improv, saying yes, and. And when we say yes to each other, and then we add more to it, we feel a sense of validation. In turn, it gives us the confidence to continue to grow. So please say yes to your child. Encourage them to grow. Even if you're not in an acting class yet, do this at home. Listen to them and say yes, and then add to it and go back and forth. Do a yes and exercise. Your yes and exercise could be as simple as just, let's plan a fig trip. Let's plan a trip where we're going to the moon. And they're like, yes. And then we can bring our teddy bear. Yes. And then we can eat vanilla ice cream floating in space. Yes. Continue that exercise with your child. Validate their voices. Don't judge them. Don't say no to them. Don't cue them. One of the biggest mistakes parents do when they're trying to train their kids in performing arts is to tell them what to say. Oh, why don't you talk about this? Oh, why don't you say this? Instead of telling them what to say, what are you thinking? What's the first thing that pops into your mind? What do you see in your head? And if they say, I don't see anything, which is very normal, that's perfectly fine. But what do you try to think, try to imagine. What do you see when I ask you, going to the moon? And you're like, I see a rocket ship. Okay, great. Rocket ship then. That's great. We can take that rocket ship and ride up to the moon. And the rocket ship, we can paint it green and have your kids say yes, and make sure they say yes, and use those words. Have them also validate your idea, because it's easy to say no, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. Get them in the habit of saying, yes, I like that idea. And we can also do this, because ideas begets ideas. When we start saying yes to each other, the world becomes full of ideas. And now we have so many ideas, we can do anything with them. So if you want to get started with your performing arts journey, come on by PopRock Academy. And you can do this even if you're an adult. You can also do this exercise with your friends too. Get in your good group of friends and play this exercise at your next dinner party. And have fun and enjoy with your friends, with your kids, doesn't matter. Have fun with this exercise with the people that you love. And I can guarantee you, the more you do this, the more ideas will come into your life and more opportunities will start knocking.